In every family, there exists a unique bond between mother and child. But sometimes there's a lingering question, one that many may hesitate to voice but often wonder about. Why does a mother sometimes seem to love her son more than her daughter? It's a question that stirs emotions, prompts debates, and invites us into the mysterious world of human relationships. But before jumping to conclusions, let's take a step back. Love is a complex force shaped by science, psychology, culture, and individual experience. In this video, we'll explore why this perception of greater love exists, what factors might influence it, and whether it's truly as simple as it seems. First, let's acknowledge the emotional charge this question brings. It can feel deeply personal, and for many, it may evoke feelings of hurt or confusion. After all, doesn't every child deserve a mother's equal love, regardless of gender? The answer isn't straightforward, and it isn't one size fits all. But by understanding the psychological, scientific, and cultural layers, we can start to see why this perception exists in some families, and how love, in its purest form, remains unquantifiable. From a psychological perspective, the bond a mother forms with her child is deeply rooted in evolutionary instincts. As the primary caregivers, mothers develop a protective, nurturing attachment to their offspring, especially when they are young. This attachment is often thought of as an unconscious drive to ensure the survival of their lineage. When we consider sons versus daughters, evolutionary psychology suggests there may be subtle differences in maternal behavior. One reason for this is that, historically, in some cultures, sons have been seen as the primary heirs, the continuation of family names, and the protectors of their mothers in old age. This could lead to a more intense maternal attachment to sons, as their survival and success were viewed as more critical for the family unit's longevity. But the psychological bond with a daughter is just as deep, though it may manifest differently. Daughters were often seen as companions and caregivers in the maternal role. The emotional connection between a mother and daughter can also be extraordinarily close and complex, especially in a world where mothers often see themselves reflected in their daughters. Culturally, the idea of preferential love toward sons can be traced to long-standing traditions. In many societies, sons have historically been seen as the more valuable offspring. They often carry the family name, inherit property, and fulfill roles that were deemed vital for the social structure. In some cultures, these historical roles translate into a deep societal expectation for mothers to favor their sons. Yet, this is far from universal. In some cultures, daughters are revered, celebrated, and even seen as the pillars of the family. In these contexts, mothers may form a bond with their daughters that is just as strong, if not stronger, due to societal roles that place greater importance on daughters being nurturers and homemakers. This cultural context shapes how love is expressed. It's not just a matter of affection, it's about what society expects of mothers and children and how that shapes familial dynamics. On a scientific level, the hormones that govern maternal affection also play a significant role. Oxytocin, often called the love hormone, is released in abundance during childbirth and breastfeeding. It strengthens the bond between mother and child. Interestingly, research shows that a mother's oxytocin levels can differ when interacting with sons versus daughters. Some studies suggest that a mother might experience a slightly stronger release of oxytocin when bonding with her son, particularly because of biological factors tied to gender differences in brain chemistry and the reproductive system. This hormonal influence doesn't imply that a mother loves one child more than the other. Instead, it suggests that different interactions can trigger varying responses, subtly affecting how attachment develops. In the modern world, social pressures also play a role in shaping the dynamics of maternal love. Working mothers, in particular, may experience a shift in the way they relate to their children based on societal expectations. For instance, sons may be perceived as needing more guidance and protection due to traditional gender norms. Daughters, meanwhile, may be expected to be more independent, which can influence how a mother's love is expressed. This shift in perception doesn't reflect a lack of love, but rather the pressures of societal norms that influence how affection is shown. Mothers often strive to balance these expectations, which can unintentionally lead to the idea that one child is favored over the other. So, what does all this mean for the question we began with? Why does a mother seem to love her son more than her daughter? The truth is, it's not about love being unequal. It's about how love is expressed differently across psychological, cultural, and social contexts. The perceived difference in love between sons and daughters often stems from deeply rooted influences beyond the mother's control. And even when there is a disparity, it doesn't indicate a lack of affection. Each relationship is unique, shaped by a combination of internal instincts and external pressures. What's truly important is recognizing that a mother's love for her children, whether sons or daughters, is profound, complex, and driven by the most primal forces of connection. At the end of the day, it's not about whether one child is loved more than the other. It's about understanding that love is not a contest. It's a journey filled with nuances, influenced by biology, society, and personal experience. And it's this love that strengthens the bonds within every family, whether son or daughter, mother or child. Thank you for exploring this profound question with us. Remember, love, in all its forms, is vast and infinite. If you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content. Until next time.